The smartest car you can buy right now is not on a dealership lot. New Camrys are pushing $50,000. Nissan and Subaru CVTs are failing before the loan is paid off. Honda and Kia are replacing turbocharged engines on cars that haven't hit 60,000 miles. Ford and Hyundai issued hundreds of recalls in a single year. New cars collect your GPS coordinates, sell that data to insurers, and charge monthly fees for seat heaters already installed at the factory. And the old car everyone told you to trade in just became the smartest vehicle you can own. Let's start with the number that should stop every car buyer dead in their tracks: $48,990. That is the actual sticker price on a 2024 Toyota Camry XSEE sitting on a lot right now. Not a sports car, not a luxury vehicle, a family sedan, a car designed to haul people to school and back, for a price a working person could reasonably manage. But here's where it gets worse. Step down to the base, LE trim. Cloth seats, no sunroof, nothing extra. And you're still at $28,855. If that sounds manageable, wait until the finance manager adds destination charges, dealer markups, and the extended warranty he's been trained to sell you before you stand up. You're leaving at $33,000 minimum for the most basic Camry Toyota will put a price tag on, and the V6 is gone. They replaced it with a turbocharged 4-cylinder, running under more stress than any engine in a family car has a right to. Run the same math on a Honda Accord. Base LX, $28,895. Sport trim with the Turbo 4, $31,895. Touring, $39,895 for an Accord, a car Honda has sold to ordinary families since 1976. Toyota and Honda aren't the exception. Hyundai's Sonata SEL opens at $30,050. The Kia K5 GT line stickers at $31,990. Nissan's Altima SR starts at $32,440. Subaru's Legacy Limited crosses $35,000. These are not premium vehicles. These are not status objects. These are transportation, the kind your parents would have bought without a second thought. And they now cost more than most households earn in a year. Nobody at the table is offering a way out. The price floor has been raised permanently. General Motors pulled the Chevrolet Malibu from the market in 2024, discontinued it, one of the longest-running American family sedans, gone because the economics stopped working at price points that ordinary buyers could reach. What replaced it in GM's lineup for the average buyer is a Chevrolet Equinox, starting at $30,995. The message from every manufacturer is identical: affordable is off the table. Now let's rewind. In 1998, a base Toyota Camry CE stickered at $17,498. A base Honda Accord LX was $15,900. Adjust for inflation, and you're looking at roughly $32,000 and $29,000 in today's money, meaning the basic version of each car costs approximately the same in real terms. Except the 1998 car came with a naturally aspirated engine that could run 250,000 miles on basic maintenance, a 4-speed automatic that did exactly one job, and a hood you could open without needing a manual to identify what you were looking at. And the person who owned it could change the oil, swap the battery, replace the air filter, and know exactly what they were dealing with at every step. The new version runs a turbocharged engine under constant pressure, a CVT or 9-speed automatic packed with tolerances that leave no margin for error, a touchscreen that sends you into a menu to adjust the fan, and a loan the average buyer is now stretching to 72 or 84 months just to make the payment survivable. That number is worth stopping on. The average new car loan in the United States exceeds $40,000 at an interest rate above 7%. At 84 months, you are paying for that Camry in 2031, 7 years. And somewhere around month 18, if you try to sell or trade it, you will discover something the dealership never said out loud when they handed you the keys. The moment you drove off that lot, you lost 20% of what you paid. On a $35,000 Camry, that is $7,000. Gone before the first oil change, before the first trip, before the break-in miles were done. 20% for the privilege of being the first person to sit in it. And it doesn't stop there. By year 2, the number drops further. By year 3, you owe more than the car is worth. The finance industry has a name for this: underwater. Most buyers don't find out until they're trying to get out, because something broke, because life changed, because the payments stopped being manageable. At that point, the dealership will happily roll the negative equity into a new loan and start the cycle again. Flip that around. A clean 2001 Lexus ES 300 with 140,000 miles, bought 5 years ago for $3,500, is selling today between $7,000 and $9,000. You can smell the worn leather when you open the door. The controls are right where you reach for them without looking. That is not sentimentality. That is a car that was designed to be driven, not managed. A 1999 Honda Accord EX-V6, picked up at auction for $2,800 in 2019, now moves for $6,500 on private listings. A 2003 Buick LeSabre with the 3800 series 2 V6 and a stack of service records is bringing $5,000 to $7,000 from buyers who understand what that engine actually is. A 2002 Ford Crown Victoria with police interceptor components, built to run harder than any civilian car on the road, is clearing $6,000 to $10,000, depending on condition and paperwork. These are not collector cars. These are not rare. These are the cars that took the depreciation hit a decade ago and came out the other side with stable value, and in many cases rising value, while their replacements were losing a fifth of their purchase price before the first payment cleared. Collectors know it, mechanics know it, and now, as loan terms stretch to 7 and 8 years and monthly payments push past the threshold of what most families can absorb, everyday buyers are figuring it out too. The dealership model runs on one assumption: that you don't understand what you're actually buying. The game was never about helping you own a car. It was about keeping you in a payment, one after another, each one rolling the last one's negative equity forward, each one starting the depreciation clock again. The old car sitting in a private listing or parked in someone's garage is the exit from that loop. It has already absorbed every hit. It already proved what it is. And the person who buys it outright, no loan, no negative equity, no 7-year obligation, has just stepped off the machine entirely. The manufacturer spent 30 years telling buyers that the practical choice was a new car on a long loan. That argument ran on assumption in advertising. The numbers have stopped agreeing with either one. But the price isn't even the worst part. What the manufacturers really don't want you thinking about is what happens once you get that new car home. Because new cars, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Nissan, Subaru, are breaking down at a rate that should make anyone writing a $35,000 check stop and do some research before signing. Start with the CVT. The continuously variable transmission replaced traditional automatics across almost every mainstream brand over the past 2 decades. The argument was efficiency, better fuel economy, smoother delivery, lower production cost. What the manufacturers left out of every brochure is that these transmissions fail at rates that would have ended careers and triggered congressional hearings in any previous generation of the American automobile. Nissan has been the center of this story for years. Their CVT went into the Sentra, the Altima, the Rogue, the Murano, nearly everything they sell, and it began failing well before the 100,000-mile mark. Shuddering under acceleration, lurching at highway speeds, seizing completely while merging onto a freeway. Nissan faced class action lawsuits. extended warranties extracted under regulatory pressure, and a buyback program for select models, none of which altered the fundamental design that caused the failures. The fix was a longer warranty on the same transmission, and Nissan is not alone in this. Subaru's Lineartronic CVT has produced similar failure patterns, particularly in the Outback and Forester. Honda's CVT, introduced in the Civic and HR-V, generated technical service bulletins on shutter hesitation and early wear. These are not isolated complaints. These are documented patterns in transmissions installed in millions of vehicles sold to people who assumed they were getting reliability. Now add the turbocharged engines. The industry replaced larger, naturally aspirated units with smaller turbocharged ones in the name of fuel economy. A 1.5-liter four-cylinder producing the output of something twice its displacement because the turbocharger is carrying the load the engine size used to handle. Those smaller engines run under dramatically higher stress. The results are in repair shops and courthouses across the country. Honda's 1.5-liter turbo used in the Civic, CR-V, and Accord developed a documented oil dilution problem. In cold climates, gasoline was entering the oil system, thinning the lubricant, protecting every moving part, accelerating wear, shortening engine life in a way that was measurable and predicted. Honda's response was a software update, not a redesign, a software update for a mechanical failure on an engine people depended on to start every morning without incident. Hyundai and Kia's Theta 2 engine is a more severe version of the same story. It went into the Sonata, the Optima, the Santa Fe, the Tucson, the Sportage, and more, and it failed. Metal debris circulating through the engine, connecting rods fracturing, engine seizing without any warning. The recall total reached approximately 1.7 million vehicles. That is not a misprint. The NHTSA opened investigations. There were documented fires, and the manufacturers had data suggesting the problem existed before the recall was ever announced. On recalls more broadly, Ford issued over 67 separate recalls in a single recent year across its vehicle lineup. Hyundai and Kia together cleared 130 in a recent 12-month period. A double-digit recall count used to be a serious quality signal. Triple digits across multiple brands is now the background noise of buying new. Now ask yourself something. What is the failure rate on a properly maintained 1997 Honda Accord with the F22 naturally aspirated four-cylinder and a 4-speed automatic? What is the failure rate on a 2001 Toyota Camry with the 2AZ-FE engine and consistent oil changes? What is the failure rate on a 1999 Buick LeSabre running the 3800 series 2V6? An engine so far below its design limit in normal use that finding one past 200,000 miles in clean running condition was simply not unusual? These engines were not optimized to the edge of their capacity. They ran at a fraction of what they could tolerate. A 3.8-liter V6 doing the work of a 3.8-liter V6 does not wear the same way as a 1.5-liter turbo doing the work of a 3.0-liter. The physics will not allow it. The failure rates confirm it. The Toyota Camry with the 5 SFE 4-cylinder, built from 1995 to 2001, is legendary in the trade for exactly this reason. Simple casting, conservative state of tune, generous tolerances. These engines ran past 200,000 miles on original internals, past 250,000 with consistent maintenance, past 300,000 in documented cases where someone changed the oil and kept the coolant clean. Open the hood on that Camry. The 5SFE is right there. No plastic shroud, no nested wiring harnesses blocking access. The oil cap is labeled. The dipstick is labeled. Everything you need to check is where you'd expect it to be. An experienced mechanic can do a complete top-end inspection in under 20 minutes, without a scan tool, without manufacturer-specific software, without booking a dealer appointment 2 weeks out. The Ford 4.6-liter V8 in the Crown Victoria earned its reputation the same way. Law enforcement agencies ran these engines around the clock, through pursuit situations, through extended idling, through the kind of sustained use that exposes weak engineering very quickly. Fleet operators don't choose on emotion, they choose on total lifetime cost per mile. The Crown Vic passed that test for decades. You still see them. A 2001 Camry or a 2003 Accord pulling out of a parking lot with 220,000 miles. Nothing visibly wrong, engine note smooth and steady. Meanwhile, a 2020 Civic is back at the dealer for its second software patch on a 3-year-old drivetrain. A 2021 Rogue is waiting on a CVT replacement at 68,000 miles. These are not exceptions. They are the predictable output of an industry that chose to optimize for efficiency numbers and production cost instead of the mechanical margin that built its reputation. And the people who kept driving the old car, who ignored the pitch, who kept the oil changed and the tires rotated, kept right on going. The old engine doesn't have a turbocharger spinning at 150,000 revolutions per minute. It doesn't have variable valve timing, solenoids buried under plastic covers. It doesn't need a software update to run correctly. It starts. It runs. It keeps running, the same way it did the day it left the factory, and the day it crossed 200,000 miles without anyone making a ceremony of it. If you're finding this useful, take 1 second to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Let's keep going. Let's talk about what happens when car companies stop engineering vehicles and start engineering customers. Pop the hood on a 2024 Toyota Camry. What do you see? A large plastic cover printed with the manufacturer's logo spanning the entire engine bay. Under it, a turbocharged 4-cylinder wrapped in wiring harnesses, sensor clusters, and emission systems that route through software layers before they connect to anything mechanical. The oil cap is accessible. The washer fluid is accessible. Almost nothing else is. Changing the spark plugs on some of these engines requires removing intake components, clearing heat shields, and working in spaces that standard hand tools can't reach without adapters. Now open the hood on a 1999 Toyota Camry. The engine is right there. The alternator is visible. The spark plugs are accessible with a socket wrench and a short extension. The belts are inspectable at a glance. The oil filter is reachable without moving anything around it. This car was built on the assumption that the person who owned it might someday need to work on it. That wasn't a design constraint, that was a philosophy. Take something concrete. A starter motor. On an older Accord or Camry, the replacement takes roughly an hour with basic tools. 2 bolts, 1 electrical connector done. The part runs $80 to $120 at any auto parts counter, no special order required. On several newer platforms, the same repair requires removing the intake manifold to reach the component beneath it. Same starter, same job, buried under complexity that serves no purpose except making the engine bay more compact and the repair bill more expensive. And then there is the diagnostic problem, which almost no one in mainstream media has bothered to cover. Every car built after 1996 has a standardized OBD2 port, a federal requirement allowing any scan tool to read engine codes. But manufacturers found a way around the spirit of that law entirely. Engine codes, standardized. Everything else, transmission module, body control module, driver assistance processors, climate control computer, infotainment system, runs on proprietary software that generic tools cannot fully access. To diagnose a non-engine warning light on a 2023 Hyundai or Kia, you frequently need the manufacturer's own dealer-level software. That is not an accident. That is a revenue strategy disguised as a technical limitation. The hourly rate at a manufacturer dealer for software diagnostic work averages over $150 in most markets. You are being charged to read data from a device you own using tools you cannot purchase. Now the infotainment. Every major brand, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Nissan, Subaru, Ford, Chevrolet, has buried climate control, radio, navigation, heated seats, defrost, and ventilation behind touchscreen menus. When it works, it's fine. When it glitches, and they glitch, freeze, and go dark, you cannot diagnose it with a multimeter, and you cannot fix it with a screwdriver. You need a dealer visit, a software update, or a replacement screen that costs more than some people paid for their entire used car 5 years ago. And 10 years from now, when the manufacturer stops supporting that software version, the car doesn't age gracefully. It becomes obsolete in the way a smartphone becomes obsolete, except it weighs 3,500 pounds and may still carry a loan balance. Here's where the subscription model comes in, and this is the part that should alarm anyone who thinks carefully about what ownership actually means. BMW introduced a subscription for heated seats. Hardware already installed at the factory, already wired, already fully functional, locked behind a monthly fee. General Motors moved heated seats and remote start behind subscription tiers in new Chevrolet and GMC vehicles. Remote start, which came included for free in vehicles a decade ago, now requires a monthly payment in GM's connected services plans. You paid for the car. The hardware is physically in the car. You are being billed monthly to use what you already bought. Mercedes implemented a subscription for rear-wheel steering, a hardware feature already installed on the vehicle. The pattern is industry-wide, and it is accelerating. That is the logical endpoint of a system designed around dependency, not ownership. Now, the part most buyers never consider until it is too late. Modern connected vehicles are collecting data constantly: GPS position, vehicle speed, braking intensity, acceleration habits, departure times, routes, idle duration, all of it time-stamped, all of it transmitted through the vehicle's built-in cellular connection to manufacturer servers. A connection, in most cases, you cannot fully disable without losing other features the vehicle depends on. That data does not sit idle. Insurance companies access it, in some cases through direct manufacturer agreements, in others through opt-in programs where the terms are buried and the implications are not explained at the point of sale. Here is a scenario that has already played out in the real world. Someone takes their off-road marketed SUV off-road, exactly what the advertising told them it was for. Something fails, they file a warranty claim, and the manufacturer pulls the vehicle data. The data shows aggressive inputs. Claim denied. The car they bought to do the thing the commercial showed it doing just had its warranty voided by information it collected about them without their functional awareness. A 1999 Honda Accord has none of that. No cellular connection, no background reporting, no server farm logging your commute. It has a climate knob, a round knob that turns with your hand, moves a cable or a motor, and changes the temperature. You can do it with work gloves on. You can do it without looking. You can do it at highway speed, in the rain, without navigating a menu. It cannot be remotely updated, locked behind a tier, or disabled because your subscription lapsed. That knob is not a small thing. That knob is the entire argument, a machine that trusts the person driving it to make decisions without asking for a monthly fee or transmitting the results to anyone. The new system was not an accident. Complexity creates service revenue. Data creates advertising revenue. Subscriptions create recurring revenue. Dependency creates leverage. Every layer of technology added to a modern vehicle is a new point of monetization and a new reason you cannot service it yourself, diagnose it yourself, or own it without an ongoing financial relationship with the company that built it. The car that was supposed to give you independence quietly became one of the most efficient data collection and revenue extraction platforms ever sold to a mass market. Meanwhile, new car inventory is sitting on dealership lots longer than at any point since before the supply chain crisis. Incentives that evaporated during the shortage years are returning. Cashback, 0% financing windows, loyalty bonuses designed to push units that used to move in days and are now sitting for weeks. Loan terms that average buyers are stretching to 84 months, just to afford the payment. The market is sending a signal. The signal is clear. People are doing the math. And the math keeps pointing in the same direction, not just mechanics and collectors. Everyday buyers who ran the numbers on a 7-year loan at 7% looked at what was waiting on the lot and started searching for something different. The Lexus LS 400, Toyota's flagship sedan, built in 1990 to out-engineer every German luxury car on the road, has been climbing for years. Equipped with the 1UZ-FE-V8, a naturally aspirated engine built with tolerances so precise that the factory floor had to be temperature controlled during assembly, these cars were selling for $4,000 to $6,000 5 years ago. Clean examples with service records are clearing $10,000 to $14,000 today. A car that is now over 30 years old, and one that, when you open the door, still smells like quality and sits like something that was engineered to last, is now outperforming new sedans as an investment on every measurable timeline. The early 2000s Camry V6 with the 1MZFE engine, the one dealers dismissed as dated and buyers traded away for turbocharged replacements, is bringing $5,000 to $8,000 in clean condition. 3 years ago, these were available for $2,500. People who understood what that naturally aspirated 6-cylinder actually was and what it was capable of bought them when the market hadn't caught up yet. Now it has. The Mercury Grand Marquis, the Buick LeSabre, the Ford Crown Victoria, cars that spent their later years parked at retirement communities and ignored by the automotive press, are now consistently clearing $5,000 to $9,000 for clean, low-mileage examples. Not because they became fashionable, because the people who bought them understood something the market is only now beginning to price correctly: mechanical simplicity, owner-serviceable design, and operating costs that don't require a warranty plan to survive. Here is what the last 20 years of the auto industry actually delivered: cars that look extraordinary on a spec sheet and fail in the driveway, transmissions engineered to outlast the warranty period and then stop, engines sized for fuel economy targets rather than mechanical longevity, interiors where the ventilation, the radio, the seat heat, and the defrost are all buried in a touchscreen that can fail, freeze, or be remotely updated into obsolescence. And all of it financed at 7% over 7 years, with a data collection agreement tucked into the terms of service that buyers signed on a tablet without reading or being told to read. And when things broke, which they did, at rates the manufacturers were tracking internally before the public ever heard about them, the answer was never a simpler design. The answer was always more software, more proprietary systems, more reasons to come back. That was the pitch. And for years, it worked. The trade-in cycle ran. Millions of perfectly functional older cars were surrendered for new ones on long loans. The depreciation machine ran continuously. Service departments stayed full. Subscription revenue started accumulating. Data got collected, packaged, and sold. The whole architecture operated exactly as designed, as long as people didn't stop and compare what they were getting to what they were giving up. But the comparisons are happening now, and the numbers are not cooperating with the manufacturers. A 1.7 million vehicle engine recall is not manageable with a press release. A CVT that fails at 70,000 miles on a $35,000 car is not fixable with a software update. A warranty claim denied because the manufacturer's own data contradicts the owner's account is not something that stays quiet. The cracks are too large and too specific to paper over. Your old Camry is not a project. Your old Crown Victoria is not something to apologize for. Your old Buick LeSabre, with its analog controls, its pushrod V6 that has never needed a software patch to run, its parts available at any counter in any town in the country, is not a liability. It is a machine that absorbed its depreciation years ago. It is a machine that reports nothing to anyone. It earns its keep every single day it starts and runs, which, if someone has kept the coolant clean and the oil changed, is likely to be a very long time after the infotainment screen in a 2023 sedan goes dark and stays dark. The manufacturers played this game well and played it long. They built dependency into every layer, complexity into the repair experience, proprietary lock-in into the diagnostic chain, subscriptions into hardware people assumed they owned, surveillance into the cellular connection they couldn't disable. They won most of the rounds. The payment cycle ran. The trade-ins came in. The new loans went out. But here is what they couldn't engineer away. A 1999 Accord with 180,000 miles on a maintained engine still starts on a cold morning. A Crown Vic with 220,000 miles and a clean frame still drives like something built to do exactly this. A Buick LeSabre with the 3,800 still pulls onto the highway without drama, without a warning light, without requiring a dealer visit to tell you what it needs. These cars are still here, still running, still proving their case every single day, on farms, in driveways, on back roads across this country. And as long as someone keeps up the basics, they will keep right on winning. The car that cost someone $3,500 at a private sale is worth $8,000 today and still running. That is not nostalgia. That is mechanical honesty earning a return. Drop a comment below and tell me. What's your old car that's still running strong? A LeSabre with 200,000 on the clock? A Crown Vic that outlasted 2 newer replacements? A Camry that never let you down? Let's hear it. And if this video helped, hit the like button and subscribe. We'll keep making the case for the cars built to last. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.